ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਇੱਕ ਓੰਕਾਰ ਸਤਨਾਮ ਕਰਤਾ ਪੁਰਖ ਨਿਰਭਉ ਨਿਰਵੈਰ ਅਕਾਲ ਮੂਰਤ ਅਜੂਨੀ ਸੈਭੰ ਗੁਰ ਪ੍ਰਸਾਦ ਜਪ ਆਦਿ ਸਚ ਜੁਗਾਦ ਸਚ ਹੈ ਵੀ ਸਚ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੋਸੀ ਵੀ ਸਚ। ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਹਮ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਭਰੇ ਏਕ ਗੁਣ ਨਾਹੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਾੜ ਬਿਖੇ ਬਿਖ ਖਾਹੀ ਮਾਇਆ ਭਰਮ ਭੁਲੈ ਪੂਲੇ ਸੁਤਦਾਰਾ ਸਿਓ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲਗਾਏ। ਹਮ ਅਵਗੁਣ ਭਰੇ ਏਕ ਗੁਣ ਨਾਹੀ ਅੰਮ੍ਰਿਤ ਛਾੜ ਬਿਖੇ ਬਿਖ ਖਾਹੀ ਮਾਇਆ ਭਰਮ ਭੁਲੈ ਪੂਲੇ ਸੁਤਦਾਰਾ ਸਿਓ ਪ੍ਰੀਤ ਲਗਾਈ। ਇਕ ਉੱਤਮ ਪੰਥ ਸੁਣਿਓ ਗੁਰ ਸੰਗਤ ਤਹਿ ਮਿਲੰਦ ਜਮਤਰਾਸ ਮਿਟਾਈ। ਇਕ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਰਤ ਕੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਰਾਖੋ ਸਰਣਾਈ। ਇਕ ਉੱਤਮ ਪੰਥ ਸੁਣਿਓ ਗੁਰ ਸੰਗਤ ਤਹਿ ਮਿਲੰਤ ਜਮਤਰਾਸ ਮਿਟਾਈ। ਇਕ ਅਰਦਾਸ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਰਤ ਕੀ ਗੁਰ ਰਾਮਦਾਸ ਰਾਖੋ ਸਰਣਾਈ। ਡੰਡੋਤ ਬੰਧਨ ਅਨਕ ਬਾਰ ਸਰਬ ਕਲਾ ਸਮਰੱਥ ਡੋਲਣ ਤੇ ਰਾਖੋ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਦੇ ਕਰ ਹੱਥ। ਗਿਆਨ ਧਿਆਨ ਕਿਛ ਕਰਮ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਸਾਰ ਨ ਜਾਣਾ ਤੇਰੇ ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੇ ਮੇਰੇ। ਸਭ ਤੇ ਵੱਡਾ ਸਤਿਗੁਰ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਕਲ ਰਾਖੇ ਮੇਰੇ।
ਸਤਨਾਮ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀਓ। ਦੇਖਿਅਨ ਸਿਓ ਕਾਹੇ ਰਚਿਓ ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ ਉਦਾਸ। ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਪਜ ਹਰਮ ਨਾ ਭਰੈ ਨਾ ਜਮ ਕੀ ਫਾਸ। ਦੇਖਿਅਨ ਸਿਓ ਕਾਹੇ ਰਚਿਓ ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ ਉਦਾਸ।
ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਧੰਨ ਧੰਨ ਸਤਿਗੁਰੂ ਸ੍ਰੀ ਗੁਰੂ ਗ੍ਰੰਥ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਜੀ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਓਟ ਆਸਰਾ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਹਜ਼ੂਰੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਆ ਕੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਹਾਂ। ਪਿਆਰੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, before we go into the Katha of Salok Mahalla Naam and continue onto the second slok, ਇੱਕ humble ਬੇਨਤੀ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, where few of us are here today, can we all come together and come a bit closer, because it makes it a bit, you could say, more intimate that we're all coming together rather than having to speak so far away. So ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, just a quick reminder, ਜੇ ਬੀਬੀਆਂ ਨੇ ਇੱਧਰ ਵੀ ਆਉਣਾ it's absolutely fine, no problem, ਆ ਕੇ ਬੈਠ ਸਕਦੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਹੋ ਕੇ, ਹਨਾ, it's not a problem at all. And then after the divan, Bibi Darshan Kaurji, they're coming and they're going to be doing a Simran immersion workshop, so it'll be even beneficial if we're all together. ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਇਕੱਠੇ ਬੈਠ ਕੇ ਸਿਮਰਨ 'ਚ ਲੱਗ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਨਾਲੇ ਵਿਚਾਰਾਂ ਤਾਂ ਪਾਠ ਕੀਰਤਨ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਹਾਜ਼ਰੀ ਭਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਸੋ ਆਪ ਜੀ ਦਾ ਬਹੁਤ ਬਹੁਤ ਧੰਨਵਾਦ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਬੇਨਤੀ ਪ੍ਰਵਾਨ ਕੀਤੀ। ਸੋ ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਜੀ, ਲਾਸਟ ਵੀਕ with Guru Sahib Ji's kirpa, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they blessed us all, Sad Sangat Ji, to be able to start going through their Bani or Salok Mahalla Naam. And in that very first slok, Satsanga Ji, Guru Sahib Ji give us a really important teaching. And they say to us, Guna Gobind Gayo Nahi, Janam Akarat Keen. That if we haven't sung the praises of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji, Ode je apa gun nahi gaye, if we haven't sung those praises, Gun Gobind Gayo Nahi, then what happens if we haven't sung those praises? Janam Akarat Keen. Our life is effectively a waste. Maharaj is saying this, Sad Sangat Ji. So they're encouraging us that maybe if we haven't sung Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji's praises up until now, if we haven't had an opportunity or we haven't had the understanding, the soji, sanu pata nahi laga कि ਆਪਾਂ परमात्मा ਦੇ ਗੁਣ ਗਾਉਣੇ ਨੇ, and we just haven't done it. Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji, in their benevolence and in their mercy, diyalu ho ke, Satguru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they say to us, it's okay. Je nahi hoya, it's okay, kyunki in the next pankti, they Maharaj sanu daste ne, they say, Kaho Nanak, Har Pajmana, Jai Bid Jal Qawmi. They're saying, oh my mind. They're first talking about their mind, their own mind, and then they're telling us, this is a teaching for us. If we haven't done Simran, if we haven't praised Akal Purkh Vaheguru up until now, it's okay, we still have a chance. We can do it going forward. Kaho Nanak Har Pajamna Jai Bid Jal Qawmi. Meditate on Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji like a fish can't live without water. Jis tarah a fish, jad tusi pani chon onu kadde ha, that fish suffers, tadfdi ha. Is tarah tusi pyar karo, fall in love with the praises of Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji in such a way that we can also be like that fish, that we can't live without it. Guru Sahib Ji give us a chance and they say, you can still do this. It hasn't been lost. We haven't lost and failed in any way. The past is the past. We can't change that past. But going forward, we can make the change. We can make that change now, tomorrow, and for the weeks and the months to come. Who knows ki sade kinne swas hone ha? Who knows how much breath we're going to have? Who knows when we're going to leave this body? Rather than waiting for that time, because we don't know when it's going to come, Satsangat Ji, we don't have like a ticker on our arm or a watch that, or anything on our matha that tells us ke haan bas tere kol thode din hi reh gaye, ja tere kol thode saal reh gaya, or je teri badi lammi umar ya, you're going to live to 100 years old. We don't know that. So why risk that chance? Why play and gamble on our life when we can actually start doing some Simran now, when we can start singing Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji's praises now? This is the summary, Sad Sangat Ji, of that Pehla Salok. Now, Sad Sangat Ji, with Maharaj's Kirpa, let's go through the second slok as part of this Katha Ji. Hanji.
Bikyanasya kahe rachyo, nimkh na hohe udas.
So Maharaj is saying Bikyan. Bikyan syo kahe rachyo, nimkh na hohe udas. So Bikyan, Sad Sangat Ji, in the translations you might see, says sin and corruption. But Bik comes in Gurbani quite a lot. And Maharaj says Bik is actually like poison. Bikyan is poison. Bikyan syo kahe rachyo. Why are we embroiled in this poison of life? Why are we going through this in life where we just got this poison around us? Nimak na hohe udas. We'll just do the actual translations of this Panktya first before we go deep. Maharaj says, Nimak na hohe udas. Not for an instant. Asi udas nahi hoye. We haven't been udas. What does udas mean? Satsang Ji, udas, it doesn't mean sadness. Okay, sometimes we think if we're going to walk on a spiritual path and a journey, asi sikhi nal lagna, ja apa gurbani nal jurna, we have to be udas. Nahi Satsang Ji. Udas doesn't mean sad. Sad nahi apa hona. This is not about being sad and like boring and really down. It's not about that. Sometimes we have a stereotype ke sade manche gal hundi hai ke anybody who's very spiritual or a gyani tyani banda or a great mahapurush, they're just sad, or they're maaf karna. People might think they're boring, they haven't got much of a character. We sometimes have that kind of a vichar. And I want to just put that to bed, that's bilkul galt. Because those gurmukhs are emanating so much energy They have so much positivity. They are full of happiness and joy. Who knows what anand they're feeling on the inside that we could never ever comprehend. So Sat Sangat Ji, udas here means detached. Apa udas reh ke apa detached rehna, almost like in bairag. So Maharaj is saying ke we have been trapped in this poison of life so much, and not for an instant have we been detached from it. We haven't ever been for an instant thought away from it and thought, okay, this is dunyavi, worldly stuff, materialistic things. I want to be away from that. Asi kadi sochya nahi, we haven't had it for an instant. Sat Sangat Ji, let's explore what does Bikyan mean. Let's just understand Bikyan. Bikyan, this poison. Sat Sangat Ji, apne panth de vidwan, our scholars, Gurmukhs, Sajjan, have actually broken this down in a very, you could say, categorized lower level, in a depth, where Maharaj has told us in Gurbani that we have got Panj Gyan Indriya. ठीक है ना? Panj Gyan Indriya mean 5 sensory organs. So we have our eyes, we have our ears, we have our nose, our mouth, our taste, the tongue, and we have touch. है ना? So those are Panj Gyan Indriya. Now from them Panj Gyan Indriya we have 5 senses, or you could say 5 Vishay. So you have sight, you have hearing, the ability to hear, you have the sense of taste, sense of smell, and sense of touch as well. So Maharaj explain here, if we look a bit deeper, Bikyan, if we look at the 5 Vishay, the 5 senses, you have the sense of hearing. We get happiness and joy from hearing something. Now that could be a positive thing. We might get joy from listening to Kirtan. Just like before the Katha started, Bhai Sahib Ji Huni, Bhai Parminder Singh Ji Huni, they Jatha de Naal, they did some beautiful Ilahi Anandamay Kirtan, full of bliss. That was joy that we heard that. Dil nu khushi aayi. So we heard that sound, and that sound came into our mind, and our mind processed that sound, and we got a level of joy. There are some people, Sat Sangat Ji, who would hear negativity, slander, gossip in little groups of people together, and they enjoy that. And even that visha there of sound has actually then put them into a state of negativity because they're involved in the gossip and they're hearing that gossip. That's just an example. You could be hearing music or podcasts or other things that are giving you a sense of negativity. For example, I'm just thinking off the cuff here, rap music from back in the day, you could say old school rap music, is very crude, very anti-women and all about the money and all about, what am I going to do when I'm out there, and alcohol and drugs, all of that. And we're listening to that, and that's going into our mind. And that's giving us our mind is then processing that and thinking, maybe I get involved in that, or maybe I'll do this. So that's just listening. But then you also have the visha of sight. When we see a form of something, we might look at the scenery of the world and we might think that's beautiful, like a mountain or the forests or the lakes or the water or the parks. But then we might see other forms that might give us a sense of negativity. Maybe it provokes our anger. Maybe it provokes our lust. Maybe it provokes our greed because we want more materialistic things. So our visha of sight causes these things. And obviously you've got the visha of taste, when you're tasting good things or bad things. Visha of touch, when you're touching something, what kind of sensation does that give us? And then the visha of smell, what are we smelling? So these are the 5 visha. So in these ways, these 5 ways, these Panj Gyan Indriya are our senses to the world, observing the world of Maya that's around us. This play that Akal Purkh Vaheguru Ji has made. Remember, apa Bikyan di gal karni. What is Bikyan? Remember. Bhagat Ravidas Ji have an amazing shabad. All Gurbani is amazing, but this one is so relevant to this topic. Bhagat Ravidas Ji say, Mrig mean pring with a pabba. Patang kunchar. They say these 5 things. Mrig ki hunda Sat Sangat Ji is a deer. Then you have mean, which is a fish. You have pring, which is a bumblebee, pavra. Then you have a kunchar, which is You have patang, sorry, which is a moth, and kunchar, which is an elephant. So why is Bhagavad Ravidas talked about these? And Maharaj says in this Pankti, ek dokh binas, that they have one fault, one defect, let's say, which causes their demise. Let's explore what this is, because it's related to the 5 organs of the Panchavisha. So the Mrig, that's Odi Vishakiya, is a Visha of Shabad. Shabad means sound. Apa Panchavisha jehde Punjabi ch apa je translate kariye, so Shabad, Saparas, Roop, Ras, Gandh. Shabad is sound, Saparas is touch, Roop is the form, what you see, Ras is the taste, and Gandh is the smell. Okay? So Mrig, the deer, has a Visha of sound. So when a deer hears a sound, a rustle or something in the forest, it pauses and it stops and it looks. And the hunter has a chance to then shoot it, fire it with an arrow or the gun or a bullet, and it kills the deer. So the demise of the deer is the Visha of sound. Mrig. Mean. Fish. The fish is always wanting to eat something. It has the Visha of ras, taste. When the fish is looking for food in the water, it might see a maggot or a bit of food, and it goes for the maggot and the food, but it doesn't know that the food is attached to a hook. The hook is with a fisherman. Fisherman pulls the fish out, badke machi khalanda. That's the demise of the fish. So the demise of the fish is the Visha of ras. Okay? Then you have the pring, the bumblebee. The bumblebee's Visha is the smell. The smell of scent of flowers. It'll go to a flower, and that flower, when it's sat in the middle of the flower enjoying the nectar, the smell of that flower, the flower can close its petals in the evening and trap the pring, trap that bumblebee, and that's its demise there. Margi. Mrig, mean, pring, then patang, the moth. The Visha of the moth, Sad Sangaji, is the roop, which is the form. When it sees the form of light, it sees a fire. The moth will go towards the flame, and with the heat of the flame, it's its demise. Margi. Done. Finally, we have the kunchar. Kunchar is an elephant. Elephant the kiya Visha. The Visha of sapars, of touch. So, an elephant, Sad Sangaji, you could say, I don't know if it happens nowadays, I hope elephants aren't hunted, but Pelyan Devich, when they were hunted, they would make a straw shape of an elephant and put a kapra over the straw shape. And the elephant, because it's got a Visha of touch of sapars, its lust for reproduction would increase, and it would go and try and find the female elephant. When it would find this female elephant, it wouldn't know that it's a straw man or straw structure. And the hunter would have a pit where the elephant would fall into, and that would be the demise of the elephant. So the Visha of an elephant, of a kunchar, is sapars, touch. Bhagavad Ravidas ji says to us, Maharaj samjhaunde ne Bhagavad ji, Mrig, mean, pareng, patang, kunchar, ek dokh vinas. They have, each of them have one failure, one fault, which causes their demise. But Angli Pankti which they say, Panch dokh asad jame. Taki kehta kas. We as humans have all 5 of those Visha within us. We haven't got one, we've got all 5. And when we've got all 5, what hope have we got? We've got to really work hard to be able to prevent these Visha from causing our demise. Otherwise, we're trapped in this. This is our Visha that we have within us. This is how we're made. Kalpurukh Vaheguru has made this human body to be able to have those 5 senses. So we want to be careful and not fall into this trap of what we see around us, because this is a trap. This is why Maharaj says, Bikin syo kahe rachyo nimak na ho hai udas. We're trapped in this khed, this maya, this chakkar, and our sensory organs are spiking. Whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we touch, smell and taste, our senses are just trapping us into this chakkar of maya. Nimak na ho hai udas. Not for an instant have we been detached from any of this, because our senses are not letting us be detached. Asi udas kis tarah hoiye? How can we be in that state of bairag jad sade ah 5 gyan indriyan are just connecting us back to this illusion? Maharaj explains this to us and they give us a chance. Hanji.
Kaho nanak paj har mana, para na jam ki faas.
Sadguru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj, they say, Kaho nanak paj har mana. Again, ohi gal. They're giving us a chance, they're giving us the knowledge, they're telling us that there's a problem here, that we're embroiled in this poison of life, of this world. And they're saying, I'm giving you a lifeline. Kaho nanak har paj mana. Kaho nanak paj har mana. Paj, meditate. O mana, us Paramatma nu Akal Purukh nu yaad kar. Odi bandagi kar, oda bhajan kar. And they say, Kaho nanak paj har mana, pare na jam ki faas. So in the same way that the fish and the deer and the other animals, the bumblebee and the moth and the elephant have met their demise, ਉਹ ਜਮਾ ਦੀ ਫਾਸ ਹੋਣੇ ਤੇ ਪੈਗੀ. ਪਰ ਜੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸਿਮਰਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ ਨਾ, Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj Ji ਦਾ ਵਾਦਾ ਆ, this is their promise to us, ਪਰੇ ਨਾ ਜਮ ਕੀ ਫਾਸ. ਇੱਕ ਦਿਨ ਤਾਂ ਆਪਾਂ ਜਾਣਾ ਆ, we know we're going to die, we know we're going to leave this body, but the jamdoot, the messengers of death, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ, their noose, their rope is not going to drag us away. If anything, Akal Purukh, Vaheguru Ji, Guru Sahib Ji, the Shaheed Singhs, whoever that great entity might be, they're going to come and take us away. ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੇ ਸਾਡੀ ਬਾਂਹ ਫੜ ਕੇ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਲੈ ਜਾਣਾ. Maharaj ਸਾਨੂੰ ਬਚਾਉਂਦੇ ਆ. Maharaj is trying to save us, saying you still have a chance. Don't think that that chance has gone away. Kaho nanak bhaj har mana, pare na jam ki faas. ਉਹ ਜਮਾਂ ਦੀ ਫਾਸ ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਏਗੀ. So in this way, Sadh Sangat Ji, Tan Sadguru Sri Guru Tegh Bahadur Ji Maharaj give us this understanding that we are in this illusion. Be aware this is an illusion. These 5 sensory organs are putting us in this zahar of sin and corruption, and our man being so fickle, gentle man, we're just following whatever the illusion is giving us. But Maharaj says, Tusi apne andarun jao. Meditate on that one. Meditate on Akal Purukh Vaheguru, do that simran, ode paane che raho, odi bandagi karo, and in that way, we're not going to be caught in that noose of the messengers of death. Maharaj will come and save us. So Sadh Sangat Ji, I know we've only had a short period to do our vicharan today because Bibi Ji, Bibi Darshan Kaur Ji Huni and Bhai Harbir Singh Ji Huni are here with us this evening, who are going to be taking us through a bit more of a practical of Simran immersion. Yesterday, Sadh Sangat Ji, we were so fortunate, we had Bhai Deputy Singh Huni who came and they gave us a very in-depth talk on meditation, bandagi, how it really affects us, our aura and the whole connection with Paramatma. They went into a lot of depth. You can see that on our YouTube channel, Sikhs in Leeds, that was live streamed and that is available to watch. Just like these Katha series, Sadh Sangat Ji, are being live streamed as well. Maharaj Ji Kirpa de Naal, we've been able to get the equipment to be able to do this seva for the Sangat and for everybody. So again, Tanavad to the Sangatan who have helped donate with that, with the equipment, and Tanavad to Basics of Sikhi and the team to be able, who've allowed us to have this equipment to do the streaming and be able to look and remember and go through these vichara and the Kirtan Divan that, Maharaj Ji Kirpa de Naal are going to be happening going forward. So Sadh Sangat Ji, Aji Seva Katha Di Iti Pravan Karyo Ji, Das Kolo, I know I have made mistakes even in the Mangla Charan Sadh Sangat Ji. I normally have that Shabad fully memorized, but for some reason you just hit a blank and oh Pankti yaad nahi puri aayi, so main aap ji kolo ta Guru Sahib kolo maafiya mangda haan. And even doing the vichara, I'm sure I've made mistakes as well. So aap ji diyan seesa bakhsh diyo please. Deho sajna seesadiyan jo hove sahib se umeed, aa slok pad ke then ਆਪਾਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਮਿਲ ਕੇ ਫਤਿਹ ਬੁਲਾਈਏ ਜੀ. ਹਾਂਜੀ.
ਵਿਖਿਆਨਸਿਓ ਕਾਹੇ ਰਚਿਓ, ਨਿਮਖ ਨਾ ਹੋਏ ਉਦਾਸ, ਕਹੋ ਨਾਨਕ ਭਜ ਹਰ ਮਨਾ, ਪਰੈ ਨਾ ਜਮ ਕੀ ਫਾਸ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ.